Mr. Walton, did you make contact with aliens? Were you taken to another planet, to a mothership? How did they communicate with... Can you tell me what they look like? Can you tell me how many of them there were? Were you given food?
But the teachers are alive. They're not books. They are the very living essences of nature itself.
What a strange person.
Unbelievably powerful supercomputer that's running our reality, and we don't have a clue as to how to operate it.
So when maybe you or somebody else creates an AGI system and you get to ask her one question, what would that question be?
What's outside the simulation?
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body, because I am more than physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting from a shack on a hill in the mossy creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void. I'm your host, Joe Roop. It's Thursday night, June the 11th, 2020, and all is well here in the natural state. I don't know about your state, but my state's doing pretty good. Tonight, Santos Bonacci is supposed to be on here. This was his reschedule, but once again, we cannot get him on the line, so Pacho's working on that. And until then, I guess we're just going to open up the lines and talk about whatever. The show's brought to you by AncientLifeOil.com, GetTheTea.com, and Metaphorical Archaeology. Those are our network sponsors. Also, head over to UFO Seekers. Give them a shout. Give them some love. Give them a follow. They could use it. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with that. And frankly, it's to this point where I guess I'm not going to worry about it. I don't know. There's these time differences, I guess, between the countries or whatever. I don't know. But it's gotten to the point, I swear to God, and I think a lot of us are feeling this too, like, it's getting to the point where, all you have to do, man, is just show up, That's what I do. I try to show up every day. I want to apologize about last night, but there wasn't a damn thing I could do. The internet was cut out. It was totally out in the neighborhood. No matter how, you got to understand this too with the streaming stuff, no matter how fancy your setup is, if the neighborhood internet goes down, even if you got a private line, you're just done for. So I'll probably get Dan on here and maybe he'll show up. Maybe he won't. Who knows? Could be an emergency. I don't like to assume stuff. All I can control is what I can control here. And I can tell you a lot of stuff that's been going on with these energies lately. When I look at this astrology, this is not a fun time for sure. But I think a lot of people are transitioning out of this. We got to get out of this victim mentality, man. We got to get out of here quick because that's what's going on. There's a lot of, what do you call it? Shadow work going on right now with victim mentality, victim mode. Yeah, So Pacho saying last time he said his internet was down. I wonder what it is this time. Who knows about tonight? Who knows? But it doesn't mean that bad things aren't happening. It doesn't mean there aren't crappy people are out there. That doesn't mean that there's not, manipulations and that conspiracies of grand gesture. It does mean, like, it is that. There are those things out there. But we can't sit around and play victim. Now, this is kind of one of those deals where we've been talking about this quite a bit, like hermetics, the laws of hermetics, things like that on the show. So we understand, as above, so below, as within, so without. But as a whole, as a society, you can't really control what other people are doing to you. You can't control how people treat you. You can't control how people feel about you. Doesn't mean you don't have to care. You just can't control it. And the other thing is we have to stop thinking we're a victim. Because a lot of us I did this tarot readings and the astrology videos that I'm still trying to upload, by the way, that keep showing this, where we are seeing all these patterns that we've seen before in our lives right now, where we are trying to break through, but we can't get out of that victim mentality, or the mentality, oh, well, this thing is going to happen to me again, whatever this thing is. And that's going to go, man, because we don't have much time left. I don't know. It's like all these eclipses and cycles and lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, whatever. I seriously am to the point of whatever. Have you ever gotten, I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this, but have you ever gotten frustrated at all of this? Just the spirituality stuff as a whole. Not frustrated with you, yourself, your own spirit, just like astrology, tarot, looking into it. It's all so damn vague, right? You don't get any answers for yourself. You know why that is? You know why you don't get any definitive answers for yourself is because you're the one that has to do it. I swear to God, you can do this. You can meditate for 30 minutes, pull out some tarot cards, ask spirit a question. It's going to tell you exactly what either you want to hear, what you're mirroring, or you might get lucky and it might tell you what you're asking. And then do another tarot reading. 3 seconds later, you're going to get a totally different answer. And it's all very vague. It's true. You'll see how true it is. It's very true. But it's vague. It's so damn vague. And that's what's frustrating, because it's spirit, I think, or whatever we want to call it, consciousness, the matrix, the grand architect, whatever we want to call it, is trying to let us know that we're the creators of our reality. That's it. That's it. So it's just reflecting all this stuff back to us. This COVID crap that's happening, these riots that are happening, all the polarity and stuff that's going on with these articles, everything that's happening to us right now. And this is just my belief. You can take it or leave it, or you can call in at 1-800-588-0335. Tell me what you think. But this is all of our creation. All of it. I mean, we have an article up on the Fringe FM right now about what the world would be like without a police state. So now we want to take things into our own hands, right? So we want to fix these problems. We want to take things into our own hands, but we want to do it to such an extreme that the pendulum swings way out, that we're doing something ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I think it is. It's kind of like when that kid in class just keeps getting picked on, right? He keeps getting picked on, he gets picked on, and he gets picked on. After a while, he goes home and he tells his parents about how much of how he hates school and he hates life and he hates everything because everybody's bullying him, manipulating him, taking advantage of him, stealing his lunch money, doing all of this stuff. And then the day he decides to stand up to the bullies, the pendulum swings, right? Way out. We've all seen this when kids do that, right? Like, I'm just done. I'm sick of it. They turn and they face the bully and they just beat the dog mess out of him. Or there's a video on YouTube of this kid that, he was overweight. He's like, I know you guys have seen it. You've had to have seen this one. He gets picked on because he's bigger and he's overweight. And these guys are punching him and kicking him by his locker and stuff, And he just done with it. Like, the pendulum swings way out, right? So he grabs the kid, picks him up and drops him on his head and about breaks his neck. And you see that, what's happening too, when we get so sick of certain things in our life, that the pendulum swings way out, whether it's riots, whether it's like, let's ban the police state. Just get rid of all of them. That's so polar. There's an article we shared that was written on the website. In Minneapolis, they're talking about defunding the police department since George Floyd's death began a few weeks ago. That's a pretty large city to defund the police department, I would say. 9 out of the 13 council members announced their intent to dismantle the police department as a whole. The city is supposed to fund the police department. I don't know how this is going to work. I can tell you how it works out here where I live. We have in the county, we don't have like a local police department. We have a sheriff's department. And when we call them, it takes them a while to get out here. Yeah, they're, patrolling around the entire county, but if something happens, you can bet your ass they're not going to be here when it happens. They're not even going to be close. So it takes what I'm saying is, if we use this analogy with the kid and the bully, right? This kid gets bullied, doesn't matter. Just like if all heavyweight kids got bullied, what do we need to do? Do we need to go in school and say, hey, we need to get rid of all of the people that don't like heavyset people. All of the mean kids got to go. It doesn't make sense. Like, there's good policemen out there. There's a lot of good policemen out there. There's always a bad apple in in anything, church, police, religion, your work, your family, your relationships. There's always a bad apple. But what this is all about, what this energy is all about, is patterns. That's what it's all about. We are sick of the same old crap happening over and over and over again. And this is how we're deciding to go about it. Not in a balanced way, not in an unpolar way, but in a completely just uncontrolled way where the pendulum swings way out, right? Which maybe that's okay. Maybe things will balance out. But I can almost guarantee you at least 8 out of 10 people that are listening right now, that's happening in your life right now. Not on a society level, not even the riots, none of that stuff. There's something that's happening to you right now that you're sick of, that you want to change, that you want happiness. You don't want to make the same mistakes over and over again. You don't want to do the same thing, get the same result. Do this, get the same result. Do that, get the same result. You're sick of it. Sick of it. Right? So, what are you going to do? I'm going through that too. Like, I don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And, in lots of ways in my life. Same result. You don't want to give too much of yourself and not get nothing back, right? You don't want to be nice to somebody and they're never nice to you. You don't want to keep lending people money and you never get it back. You're starting to see these patterns here, and these patterns are happening on individual levels, and they're also happening on like mass levels. And the second you stand up for yourself, just like the second we do as a society, we stand up for ourselves, that's when things are going to change. But we don't need the damn pendulum to swing so far out that chaos happens. Some of you might hate the police. I get that. You might hate the idea of police. I've never had any, I've got a few friends that are cops, but I've never had like any really bad relationships with the police. But what are you going to do when there's a missing child, when your kid goes missing? What, you got a neighborhood watch? You going to go beat doors down? What are you going to do? Like, how can you be mad at something like police, something you won't do? You won't even do their job. You're not going to go do their job, but somebody's got to do it, right? I'm not talking about the son of a bitch that murdered Floyd. I ain't talking about those people. I'm talking about police as a whole. It's pretty obvious now why there's so much government and why we depend on these systems so much when we're talking about dismantling the police department in one of the largest cities in the United States. And all of this, whether you like it, I know this doesn't seem very fringe to you, but all of this is 100% buried in these astrology charts. So what are you going to do? What is it in your life that's happening right now that you're tired of? Because you can look on the news, you can look on, you could turn on the news, you could turn on Twitter, you could turn on whatever, Netflix, Fox, I don't care. And you're going to see these patterns happening in your exterior world too. People are sick of the same old thing, right? So are you. You're sick of the job that you're always doing. You're sick of this person that's not, appreciating you in your life. You're sick of being bullied. You're sick of being taken for granted. But you know how to change all that. It's not about you being the victim. This isn't about being a victim. This isn't about like, oh, I'm so sick of all this stuff happening to me. Like, I'm just cursed or something. And I just need to like pull out a shotgun and just let the pendulum swing just so everybody knows this ain't happening to me no more. You know what that is? That's 100% like ego. It's 100% ego. All you have to do, first and foremost, is believe that you deserve the thing that you want. That's it. Not tell yourself you deserve it, like really believe it. Now, let me get a little deep on you with some of you people here, because I have never done a show on this show where there's not at least 15 people that I know personally that aren't going through what I'm going through. So I'll say it like this. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be respected. You deserve to be happy. You deserve that. You do not have to feel guilty for wanting respect, for wanting a little appreciation, and wanting to be loved. That's what this all boils down to. And then as it swings out in your exterior world, you're going to see this all over. You're going to see this everywhere. That's right. I am loved. All right. There you go. MJG. MGJ. Damn, that's backwards. But that's right. You deserve that. I guarantee you there's so many people out there, man, like feeling this victim thing. And you know what? It's right here in the US of A. I got friends in other countries that aren't really like going through this stuff personally, but these energies are whack. And it's all going to fix itself. I'm telling you, like this Venus retrograde thing, all of this stuff, it's going to fix itself when you start really telling yourself that I know it's hard to believe, damn it. It is. But that the spirit that you know you have, that the higher self that you know you have is constantly working in your favor. I don't care how bad your past has been. I don't care what hell you've been through. I believe I'm a hermeticist. I'm a Kabbalistic hermeticist. So I believe in divine justice, right? I believe in cause and effect. And if you came here and you experienced certain things, that's because you chose to work this out. And your spirit and whatever's going on with you is constantly working in your favor. I look back on a lot of the things in my life that I really feel like I freaking just couldn't stand. The jobs that I went through, some of the heartaches that I went through in my life, abandonment, heartache, betrayal, jobs that I just couldn't stand. But all of that led me to where I am right now. But your life can change like in an instant if you take that victim mentality and you get so fed up that your pendulum just swings way the hell out and you start assuming and you start playing the victim mentality and you are doing everything based in fear. You may think you're empowered, but what you're really doing is you're doing everything based in fear, not love. And I swear, I feel like I'm on a different timeline here. You know how Mary was talking about, we used to do those things like pay it forward, take care of each other. That whole vibe was happening. But it's like we're in a different world right now. We're in a freaking Twilight Zone. Everybody's out for themselves. Everybody's like, well, what about me? Me. I could do that, right? Like, you know, Santos didn't show up for the second time. I could say, forget this guy, right? But no. He probably has a real situation that he couldn't get on. But if you assume things and you swing like way out, you're going to screw up so much stuff, man. Like it's not really breaking the cycle of your karma. What it is, it's like you going playing victim and then you're going to go back into that wheel again. And I hope we can get Santos on, because if anybody studied the wheel, and I guess you could say the sky clock, a lot of people call it different things, right? I mean, this guy's really done he's like famous for it. He's done his research on all this stuff. So all I'm saying is as you're feeling these things and these energies that we're going through, you're also being asked to do certain things, I believe, because of this Gemini energy. Another part of yourself is coming out and showing itself. Just do it, right? Don't fight the energy, like do it. Anyways, I'm already over break. I'm going to see if we'll try to get Santos on here. And if not, we'll just keep on ticking, all right? We'll be right back, right after this break.
Charlton from Metaphorical Archaeology. If you've ever had a traumatic paranormal experience, the effects of it may stay with you for years. Who do you talk to? You can't go to conventional help. What we do is we use emotional freedom techniques or tapping to actually neutralize the effects of that event. Maybe when you tell the story now, your heart races and your palms get sweaty. You don't even want to think about it because you don't know how to neutralize that. That's what EFT tapping does. It neutralizes those emotions. The circuit that was recorded on is gone. The energy flows freely and you're free of it. And that's what emotional freedom is all about. We offer this as a pro bono service, but this is something that I offer because no one, it seems, is helping people with these experiences. If you'd like to reach me, it's really easy. My cell phone is 214-995-3754. Please leave a message. I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Or you can email me, barb.eft@gmail.com. And EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. Reach out to me. It's confidential. This works. You won't believe the results.
All right, man, this is Crow 777, and you are listening to The Fringe FM.
Right, me old Chiners. I know it's an ad break, but before you lot shoot off and make yourself a cup of Rosie Lee or whatever else it is you're going to sling down your Gregory Peck, you need to listen to me babble. If, like me, you found your way to light in the void via a downloadable podcast, you might want to take a butcher's at the Fringe FM Wind and Kite. You won't Adam and Eve how many other shows there are or what they rabbit on about. Ancient history, conspiracy, the consciousness, the esoteric, the occult, metaphysics, parapolitical, ufology, technology and spirituality, to name but a few. They got featured hosts like Ryan Gable, Jeremy Scott, Alex Exum, Tim Doyle, Cortana and Gigi, Susanna Ross, the Reverend John Polk, Michael Deacon and J.D. Lewis. You might find yourself listening to the thoughts and theories of the author of The Fish you just finished reading. Or you could pick up the dog and bone, call in and tell everyone your own beliefs or experiences. So do me a favour, before you put on the Ansel or crack open a bottle of vino or roll a joint, go to the Fringe FM and see what you're missing.
Hey, this is country music singer and void walker Jason Benoit, and when I need my fix on the world of magic and the capabilities of the human consciousness, I listen to Joe Roop right here on Lighting the Void Radio.
depths of your mind. It's Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
The Fringe FM isn't just a radio station. We also provide services for all your audio production needs. If you are interested in live radio or pre-recorded podcasts, we're here to help. We even do audio enhancements and voiceovers if needed. If you want to do a podcast or live radio show and even want the option to syndicate on terrestrial radio, from simple audio file enhancement to live production and call screening, we have you covered. We have worked with some of the best professionals in the business in order to provide coaching instruction for content creation, show structure, and more. Contact The Fringe Digital Media for more at info@thefringe.fm. That's info@thefringe.fm. Or call 501-777-5631 for a consultation.
Hey, I'm J.M. DeBoard, and when I want to talk about dreams, I look up my man Joe Roop and his show, Lighting the Void.
Welcome back to Lighting the Void. The lines are open. You can call in at any point in time. It's 1-800-588-0335. If there is no police department, if we just ban the police departments, what are you going to do when there's a crime? How's this going to work? Is it going to be total anarchy? I don't know. The Reverend Dan Lopez is joining us here. Santos has informed our producer once again his internet is down, which I don't doubt with all the stuff that's been going on. Mine's down too, so he may come on later. We may reschedule. I don't know. And that's what happens when you have a live show. The show must go on, and you just keep on ticking, right? You don't worry about it. Keep on trucking. What's up, Dan?
Right.
How you been,
What's
brother?
up, man?
Man,
I'm fine. It's been worse.
Yeah, right. Like so I want to talk about this police state thing too, but I mentioned this to Navier the other night. Like, there's a guy that wrote an article about the Mayan calendar is when you relate the Mass to the Gregorian calendar, that 2012 wasn't actually 2012. 2020 right. is the actual end of the calendar. Right? And you know what? I remember 2012. Yeah, there was a planetary alignment and all that, but this kind of, if there was like an end time coming, this kind of would feel like it. Don't you think? It sure does, doesn't it? With all the stuff happening.
I came across a post recently that said that the elites basically go by the Ethiopian calendar, and supposedly this year is supposed to be the 2012, and not what we went through.
Man, that's freaky.
So I don't know. Yeah.
That's freaky.
It is. I don't know.
It's the end of the world. We just might as well get ready for it. So, I don't know.
I don't know. You gotta figure it out.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm seriously to the point where, I don't know if you can tell, but like there's these pattern recognition going on. You know, sometimes we Aries folk are a little stubborn, right? And it takes us a while to see pattern recognition. And at least for me, and then I start thinking, well, this is the problem. That's the problem. It ain't me, right? It's not me. It's everything else is the problem. And then you get this victim mentality. We're like, oh, I'm not doing this again. And what, dude, it's way too much ego. Like the ego is, like I'm doing some more shadow work right now. I thought I was kind of done with that, you know, as when we talked about it before, but now it's like I'm facing this, it's like an in-boss type of shadow, you know, where you get down there and you're like, oh shit, where did you come from? You know, it's like, I thought the game was over, man, but it's not.
No, not by a long shot, bro.
and I can see
a lot of work.
I can see it too. Like these, if you guys get out, look on the news and Twitter and look at all the articles that they're putting out. They're playing against people's polarity, man. They're a lot of these articles are fake and stuff too. Like they just make up stuff and put up pictures and say it's like racism. And then they get you all tearing each other apart. And they're really like, there's a whole other story behind what that first article was about. I thought we would have figured this stuff out by now, you know?
And then some. See what happened with a lot of society is they started taking everything as rote. You know what I mean? Because they got indoctrinated into trusting the mainstream media. So, I mean, and this has been going on forever. You know, like our families, if you look at your dad, dude, our dads, our grandparents, they looked at the news and they were like, that's gospel. You know what I mean? Well, if it ain't on the news, then it ain't really happening. Right on?
Yeah, he's still that way.
Now
My pop's still that way, though.
and right on. So, but now that's like, even like people who are in 30s and 40s, that's how they are now. And it's like, they got indoctrinated, man. The programming was working. The program is working.
Well, we're trying to start a new, like, news thing here. You know, you gotta, I think, you know what I think good news is? Good news is like somebody just reports the facts, just report the facts, show it to me live and say, this is what's going on. I don't really know what the truth is behind it, but this is what's going on. Kind of like,
well, that's
what that should be how it is, right?
I know, but the problem is that what's going on is not always is not telling you exactly what's happening behind the scenes, which is also very important. You know, because they're playing a shadow game, right? And it's a shell game on top of that. So it's like, you know, they want you to follow the shell, and they're going to put your focus where they lay their hands, and you're supposed to follow their hands, right?
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to follow the little, you know, pea underneath the freaking shell. So what happens is you get your focus goes wherever you think the pea is, and the pea where you are, where your focus is, winds up being, because that's how bad they're shuffling everything. They're playing so many multiple angles because they can, because their resources are so varied and spread out that's what they're doing. And it's really easy. So it's a shock and awe system, right? So you're going in there and you're saying, I don't know what the hell is up or down anymore, you know? Who do I trust? And me not being a trusting person, just basically sat back and like, okay, what else you got? Because I don't think it's over by a long shot, and I assume there's going to be more and more and more, because whoever we're at war, they mean to not fall. They mean to not give up. So they're going to take and do this, you know, to whatever means necessary. And if that means, you know, hurting a lot of people, if that means, you know, scaring the hell out of a lot of people, that means destroying whatever they need to destroy, they're going to do so. They're going to do so. It's like you were saying with this Antifa stuff. You know, what are they trying to do? Where are they trying to go? And how about, what's this banding the frickin'? I just saw a tweet earlier saying that here, look, the family of that person who got killed is now going to the UN saying that they want to disarm the police. I'm like, well, let's like take a look at this. So basically, in saying that you want to disarm the police, you want to cap the knees of all the police, right? Because there were no arms that were used in the murder of that person.
No, but you know what?
You know what I'm saying? So basically,
really
so now the knees of the police are no longer a viable option.
Yeah, you know what really bugs me though? Like, I don't think that would have happened out here in Grant County, Arkansas. I don't think so,
dude.
I'm just saying.
Where does it always happen? Where does it always happen? It happens in places where there's
big cities,
gun-free zones. That's right.
Because if that dude would have been, and I don't care if it had put me in jail or not, if that dude would have been putting his knee on this guy's neck, another cop trying to push me back or not, and there's 40 of us out there, and I know this guy hadn't done nothing, and he's about to die, I would have kicked that dude's head off his shoulders. Yeah, I'd have probably got tased, but I'd at least given him some breath. I might have gotten shot. How are we just going to, and that's the thing, we don't need to riot. But somebody should have, like, we don't need to be in this situation where we can stand back and say, sir, he can't breathe. Sir, he says he can't breathe. Sir, he can't breathe. Like, that's not.
You don't want my opinion on that shit.
It's not doing it. But it's not.
The whole nation went crazy over a viral video. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, that stuff happens all the time. It happens all the time. That's the point. People are sick of it, right? Pattern recognition. But it happens all the time. It happens every day, probably. The thing about it is when they really push it on the news, like, look at this, look at this.
Well, that's brainwashing. Repetition is brainwashing. Simplified.
Now, to my other point is like, we do that to ourselves. We allow that to happen, and then we do it to ourselves.
Oh yeah.
I'm a victim. 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 I'm a victim.
Well, it could be a lot of, not just victim, it's like, it's other things, I'm not worth this, I'm not worth that, self-destructive patterns and stuff like that. And, when we repeat them over and over and over again. That slight that somebody did to you, that argument that you never freaking totally felt like you had closure for, that bad situation that you went through. And they loop in your head, and you're basically brainwashing yourself over something that happened. God knows, we could grab something, we could be happy-go-lucky, and all of a sudden some thought comes into your head from 30 frickin' years ago, and now you're a mental case.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Exactly.
And you can't get rid of it, and you're sitting there, you're going, what the hell is wrong with me?
Yep. And then you know what else happens? This is the funky chicken that the universe does on you. It attracts people and situations in your life that reflect your belief about that. That's it. It reflects your beliefs about yourself. Why? Why does it do that? Is it playing with you? Is it poking at you? Is it trying to make it worse? Or is it trying to show you something? That you're perpetuating your own reality. I'm not saying that other people don't make choices and they don't do things to you. Of course they do. But we got to start understanding, I swear on everything, if we all just, it don't even have to be religion. If we all just understood these laws, the laws of polarity, vibration, ebb and flow, if we understood these things, we could really change a lot. I'm talking about big time stuff.
I know. But the problem is that most of us even aren't at that level. We're incapable of even looking at ourselves, let alone looking at things that may influence us.
Yeah. It's true. That's so true.
You know what I mean? And that's been destroyed from a long time ago. That was always the case for many eons. It's like, let's keep them dumb and stupid. And, there were all of those great traditions that were going down, astronomy, astrology, blah, 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 and numerology and all of this stuff. And can't have that. That's knowledge. These people can't have knowledge.
Yeah.
We let them, if these people all can talk the same language, then there's no stopping them.
Punch. People need hobbies. That's the truth. Get a hobby.
Oh yeah.
For real.
Oh yeah. Release. A form of release.
I used to do back in the day, man, when I was a real son of a bitch back in the day. Like when I would get angry at people, I'm telling you, and go out, and I would go out at night, and the first person that crossed me or disrespected me, I was pulling teeth back. I don't know why. I had some kind of internal thing going on, where, I'm a victim. I need to go out and let somebody know that I ain't taking this no more. Like I had something to prove all the time,
He was hurting.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it was.
He was hurting. You had no way to understand how to process it because nobody came to you with the means of processing it that was different from your own. And whether you were open-minded to it, if it had come to you, it was a different story. Because we have to be in that state of mind where we're open to a different frame of thought.
You know what changed me?
Because if we're not, then forget about it. We're all, go ahead.
Psychedelics.
Okay.
It works, right? Just one, it's just sometimes we just need a massive switch in perspective. That we're so set in our way, we're so patternized, programmed, that we have no way. I'm not saying we can't. Of course we can. But it's really, really, really hard without a reset. Sometimes we need a reset. Control, Alt, Delete, you know?
Yeah.
The system can't take it no more, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't even see how people could run this country without. They should have to take like ayahuasca or something before they make any big decisions about everybody. Sorry. They should get it like okay, let's make sure this person cares about somebody else besides themselves. Control, Alt, Delete, click. I mean, everybody thought Obama cared, this guy, and it's not all about the president, but you know, it's more like people, leaders, people running companies, all kinds of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And you know, the bitch of it is, there's people out there that care about other people, and those people are victimized, like for real, more than most, because the devil has this funny game of like really messing with people that have big hearts, you know? So they can't become this big thing they're supposed to become and influence good things in the world. And until that person has a Control, Alt, Delete, no one's going to do it for them, and it's very sad. But until that person sees their own worth, their own value, of who they really are and what they came here to do, they're just going to keep like creating situations and things and jobs and relationships in their life that's going to show them their value and worth. And it's not going to reflect the truth. It's going to reflect the illusion. What we're calling a reality, especially if you're unhappy right now, if you are unhappy, unfulfilled, pissed off, your reality is an illusion that you had took part in creating. The illusion is the truth that you believe about yourself.
Here's my question. So say you're working on that, right? You're working on that. Why is it, as much as you work on all that good, all that healthy ego stuff,
yeah,
that the world doesn't reflect, or the universe doesn't reflect that as fast as, say, when you have a negative thoughts? Because it's real quick to bring back the negative thoughts.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Instantaneous. What's up with that? I think that's an imbalance.
It's definitely an imbalance.
Personally.
Same way like when you look at the stock market, if you're a day trader, they'll tell you, like when things fall, they fall hard. But when things climb, they don't climb so fast sometimes. The things that climb and all those big splits in the market where there's just these massive jumps are kind of few and far between. But the falls, you know, they cliff off because people give in to fear. Like this whole thing, man, it was taught to us in Star Wars. It's taught to us in the esoteric. You don't know the power of the dark side. That's the power of the dark side. Sometimes when you're doing good things and you're working for the good and you're bettering yourself, it feels like an uphill battle, like an inchworm type of battle, you know. But the dark side, when you go to the negative, it's like, hey, man, we can get all the way down to the bottom of this thing and fast. You want to see? Right? That's where the power lies in the dark side. It's kind of unfair, isn't it? Feels unfair.
It's completely unfair. I think it's a load of crap.
Yeah. Kind of unfair, right? And then that gives us the victim mentality. But here's the reality. There are people doing great and immaculate things. It's all in their head, though. I was watching this thing last night about this guy. I think his name was Daryl Gibbons or something like that, where he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. And he was 106 pounds overweight. 106 pounds overweight. And that's a lot. And he lost 106 pounds in 3 months, 90 days, 12 weeks. Didn't even have like loose skin or anything. How is that possible? There's interviews on this guy all over YouTube. How's that possible? How'd you do that? How did you have the success? And what the guy told the cameraman was, I need to put that in the chat. But what he told the cameraman was, he said, every time I became afraid of something, or somebody told me I couldn't do something, or something really scared me, I went straight at it. I went straight at it.
Mm.
And he did.
There you go.
You know, his first.
There you go.
It's a trippy thing too, man. That fear, it feels like a forest of mass hell that we're just gonna have to crawl through, like Andy Dufresne, through miles of crap till we get out. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, it's just a really dark wall that we can pass through if we just charge right through it.
And challenge your paradigm.
That's it.
You challenge your paradigm and you get out of your comfort zone. You know, if you got comfortable in a spot that's not serving you, well, then do something about it. But that's the thing. You know, we get to a point where it's like we get really comfortable about something and we don't do anything about it. And, you know, it's like you want to shake somebody, right? You want, because you see in them, right? And I know your frustration that you've had, with people.
Yeah, man.
You know, you're like, why don't you? Why? And you know, sometimes it's just like they can't get past themselves. You know what I mean? They just can't get past themselves, and sometimes it has to take something that's shocking or bottom, whatever it takes.
The tower card has to come out
to make them to move. Yeah, you know, sometimes it takes an extreme thing to get them to actually, you know, well, maybe if I did that,
maybe you could have the life of your dreams.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like,
hey, look, I was ready to give up on this guy on this motorcycle, and should come back to life. And
you driving it?
Got both pistons are together. No, of course not. There's something else. This is Project Discovery.
Pattern.
There's always something going on.
Yeah,
We're running before. Now it ain't. Yeah, but I'm being, like I said, I'm being persistent. You know what it too? Because we're Aries, right? We're great starters. We're horrible finishers. So I'm trying to finish this damn thing because I started it, right?
Sometimes you need a little help.
Just like any other project or whatever. I am. People like Macon and people on Instagram and stuff like that have pointed me.
That's another thing about Aries. Your ego gets so big, you don't want to say
resources.
Help.
No, I ask.
All right. Well, you're wise.
I ask. I'm not. I ain't proud. I ain't proud.
You're a wise Aries, right?
I don't know about wise. I'm more wrong than I'm right. That's for sure.
Yeah. So you want to know something like the pattern of like billionaires? You ever notice like patterns of billionaires, like these really, and I'm not talking about they're just the crooked ones, just like Branson and Elon Musk and just these people that are really successful. You know what I noticed about them is they're just so damn curious about everything. Like they know a lot. They've got a lot of wisdom, right? But they also recognize patterns and behaviors and things like that. But they never really act like they know it all. They're just so damn curious about everything. It's really strange.
That was something that I learned. That was something that I heard a long time ago. Is the more that I know, the less that I know.
Yeah.
So I try to keep that. I try to keep that on the forefront, and I have a hard time communicating that to people when they tell me stuff. Because you've been in tech support and stuff like that. You get to the point where it's like you know more than the freaking people you're about to call because you got a problem that ain't fixable.
Yep.
And it's going to take someone with special skills to eradicate the problem that you're dealing with, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be calling them in the first place. You'd fix it your damn self. So I'm like, there comes a time where I just like, I don't know what I don't know, and I realize that. I don't have a big head about it. It's like I was telling this friend, this guy KG Chop Shop over on Instagram. I was like, look, I'm a total noob, but I'm an electrician by trade. I'm just trying to maintain potato level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm just trying to get through. I'm just trying to roll. That's it. That's all I'm trying to do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Look, we're at the top of the hour. Well, I can tell you one thing that happened when I realized a lot of people don't know much about tech is when you tell somebody to hit F12 and they start yelling at you saying, I am hitting F12, F12. What the hell do you want me to do? That was my experience with tech support. Now I'm glad I'm out of there.
Hit F4. Tell them hit F4.
We'll be right back.
And you're listening to The Fringe FM.
Are you intrigued by paranormal talk radio? You'll love the new paranormal radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Hey, this is No Way Jose, a Northern California Piscean stuck in the Arizona desert. I'm a void walker, and I got the shoes to prove it. So what do I do when my soul yearns to delve deep into the realm of the unknown? I aim my satellite straight into the night sky and catch a smooth ride on the KTLK-DB radio waves. I tune into Lighting the Void with Joe Root on the Fringe FM.
Joe, Lighting the Void is the best show on the planet. This is Barney, your friend from Facebook. Thank you and all the crew for all you do. Namaste, my friend.
This is Macon from the foothills of North Carolina, and I am a void walker.
G'day, void walkers. This is Lily from down under Australia. The world may be small, the enigma is greater. So let your curiosity take you for a journey with Joe Root.
Hey, this is V, coming in from Central Maryland, and I am a void walker.
This is Kevin Doherty, a beginner void walker. I'm from Vancouver, BC. I know a little about a lot, and as Leonard Skinner said, I'll guess the rest. I learned a lot from Mr. Root in the show, and I heard it from the beginning. I knew right then he was going to be a new Art Bell. Thanks for all your shows, and keep it up.
Hey, this is Derek from Mass, a.k.a. the Night Stalker, and I'm a void walker.
This is Mark from Chicago, and I walk the void to ascertain what is consciousness.
My name is Jared Johnson, and I'm from Humboldt County, California. I do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm a void walker. Thanks, Joe Root.
I'm Clyde Lewis. You are listening to The Fringe FM.
Hey, is that a new music app?
Yeah, check it out. Surfer Music Discovery. It links to thousands of online stations, but the twist is you see the song names and artists that are now playing live.
That's different. No guessing. Looks like a waterfall of music.
So many formats. Rock, oldies, country, R&B, jazz, and a whole lot more.
How's that spelled?
Surfer. S-U-R-F-R.
Is it expensive?
It's free. No need to sign up or sign in.
Get the Surfer Music app free from Google Play or the App Store.
Have you ever seen an ad or banner which brought you a feeling that someone is reading your mind or even listening to your conversations? Your online data is being used against you. Surfshark is a VPN service that makes online privacy protection easy and attainable. You can use it on as many devices as you'd like simultaneously. Surfshark encrypts all internet traffic sent to and from your devices and ensures that your IP address remains hidden. The VPN service that we use at UFO Seekers, plus 1 month free for $1.99 a month. Visit surfshark.deals/seekers.
We all have that story to tell in our lives. The winds were howling. The ground shook. You could hear rushing water. And then, history repeats itself. When there's no power, refrigeration fails. Stores with their shelves strip bare. ATMs can't operate. Deliveries stop. Then what? These events can last days or weeks. You need a plan. In statements made during recent interviews, FEMA Administrator Brock Long has repeatedly urged all Americans to understand three truths. FEMA is broke. The system is broken. If this is the new normal, Americans can't rely on federal cavalry when disaster strikes. Don't get caught out in the elements empty-handed. Prepare with us by going to preparewiththefringe.com and get your 2-week food supply. 92 servings, 8 food varieties with 25-year shelf life. Normally $137, now only $75. Or get a month's supply, normally $247, now only $147, shipped in one business day. Just go to preparewiththefringe.com or call 888-440-7931. That's 888-440-7931. Get this great offer and be prepared while it lasts.
Hey, Fringe listeners, this is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange Radio, asking you to join us live Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Fringe FM. Visit beyondthestrange.com for links to chat, social media, and schedules of the show. And remember, always stay strange. Hasta.
Somewhere between abnormal and paranormal, there's a show called Into the Paranormal. I'm Jeremy Scott. Hear me live Saturdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern on the Fringe FM.
All right, we're back. The Fringe FM needs your support. Stop telling me you love me and show me with your wallet. I'm done with all that. I'm so done with people telling me how much they love me. Show me with your wallet. Support the Fringe FM. Just no. But seriously, if you love this station, you love the show, support. You can go to the Patreon too, on Lighting the Void. Even though I'm a little behind there, you can also donate. You can go to the shop, and you can donate to the Fringe FM if you love this radio station as we transition into this new era, because you're going to need us, I'm telling you. Reverend Dan Lopez is here with us. I still have not heard from Santos other than he has no internet again. So, there you go.
We're going live Saturday or no?
Yeah, maybe. I got to catch up on some stuff. I'm skipping over stuff, you know. I got some people that signed up to some bigger packages. I got to do the featured stories and all that. I got to figure this Patreon thing out, how to do it right, you know.
Got to do it right.
But I was thinking, like, you know how we do think
That's a dangerous thing.
You know how we do think about, like, how money solves all our problems. Have you ever, like, how many times have you talked about this predicament and that predicament and this predicament, right? But the answer to that equation is money. Isn't that a bitch? It's not fair.
Usually.
But it's usually the answer. It's like, well, if I had all this money, I could just make this stuff go away. And it got me thinking about that movie, have you seen that movie 4 Rooms with the bellhop?
No.
Come on, man. You haven't seen it? It's not a...
How old is it?
Pretty old, but it's a Tarantino flick or something like that. And they're up there in the top.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's called 4 Rooms. There's another director. It might not be Tarantino, but I know he was in it. And the bellhop goes into this room, and these guys are drunk, and they're hem-hawing, and they're betting that this guy won't chop off his finger with a butcher like a cleaver. One of you guys, I know one of you guys have seen it that's listening. And he says to the bellhop, he said, all I want you to do is, like, when the clock strikes a certain time, I want you to chop his finger off, and I'll pay you $1,000. Because I think there was some kind of bet, like, he wouldn't do it. And he did it instantly, right? And just started counting his money and whistling, you know? And I got to thinking, like, it's a really weird thought. But how much, if somebody said, hey, if I came to you and I was a complete stranger, and I said, hey, I'll give you $1,000 to chop my finger off. Would you do it? or what's your price to chop my finger off? Seriously, just a finger.
For me, you're asking me to chop your finger off?
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't think I could do it for $1,000. Yeah, there you go, Night Stalker. 4 rooms. That's it. Who's the director of that? That's Tarantino, right? No, I want to know. Like, I couldn't do it for $1,000. There's no way. Like, if it was, even if you was a random dude, I'd be like, nah.
You couldn't chop somebody's finger off for $1,000.
Even if they were cool with it too. That's the thing. They're cool with it. They want you to do it. They don't think you'll do it, but they want you to do it. They put it right.
Dude,
on
if you worked on a farm, you slaughter a freaking pig for like $8 an hour. What are you talking about?
Not for $1,000 to chop your finger off. You wouldn't cut somebody. $10. No, like I wouldn't. No, because it's a human. I wouldn't like chop your finger off for $1,000. You chop my finger off for $1,000?
If I put it down on the table for you, you wouldn't cut my finger off. Well, look, if you didn't know me.
I don't think so.
Because here you are. Here's the thing. The bus boy didn't have any kind of attachment to the person who was offering him the money.
Yeah, but
he could just whistle and walk away.
And he did it fast.
And never to see this person ever again. Well, you better do it fast. You don't want to think about that.
I'm just saying, like, I started thinking about like what people's beliefs about money. You know, like money solves everything. It makes everything better and freer and all this other stuff. And it really, I mean, I've had some great damn experiences. I'm talking about some of the best experiences in my life without it. I'm not saying that, you know, you can't like go parasailing without money, because you probably can't, but there's a lot of cool stuff you can do without it. But we want it so bad, but we realize this fundamental factor that we need it so bad that guy didn't hesitate in that flick. And I was thinking, well, if that was a real situation, well, how much money would it take for me to chop somebody's finger off? And I don't think I would do it for $1,000, even if they were cool with it. But you would. It's okay. You can say you would.
Oh, yeah. I was on a completely different level, because you started talking about the things that we enjoy for free, and I was on a whole different mindset.
Yeah, but you know what? Stay with me here, though.
I know. All right, fine. If I didn't know you and you approached me and I was working as a busboy at a thing, and you said that I could cut your finger off and get $1,000 for it, I'd be gone.
All right. So Night Stalker's got this other one. It's a pretty good flick too, right? Called The Box. You ever seen that one? Probably haven't.
Well, yeah, that's the same one where, you know, I'll give you a number.
We give you $10 million or something.
Yeah.
But it's gonna kill somebody else. Yeah.
Bam.
You would push it. No questions.
Bam. Bam.
You just murdered somebody.
People die every day.
God, dude. And this is, you know what sucks about this is this is like my best friend. I just realized he would chop my finger off for $1,000 if I got drunk and told him to. And if I was
No. There's a difference. I have an attachment to you. That's different. It would not be that easy. I would not say yes. You'd have to offer me a lot more.
All right. How much? Knowing that we could just go down to the ER, put it on ice, sew it back on.
$15 million.
$15 million, dude. You'd do it for $1,200. $15 million.
No, for you, $15 million, bro. I buy you another fucking finger.
It's a finger. I mean, $15 million's a lot. Would you do it for $1 million? You wouldn't do it for $1 million?
No.
I would chop your finger off for $1 million.
15, because if you're gonna make me go to that level, I'm gonna push you to the edge of my edge.
I would definitely chop your finger off, probably for less than $1 million, if you told me it was cool.
I wouldn't offer it. I wouldn't offer it. I need all my appendages.
You gotta
have a hard enough time keeping them as it is.
Yeah, well, you gotta watch that flick, man. It's a good movie. A lot of crazy stuff happens, you know, but It just got me thinking. Like, I started thinking about how we've just totally enslaved ourselves into, and then now we're the victims. We enslaved ourselves, and now we're the victims. It's kind of funny, right?
There's that experiment, right? What was the name of that experiment? Where they had those people in there. They had them a person in a suit, a white suit, came in like a doctor, and told them to sit in before this console and look at the person on the other side, or heard somebody on the other side. And they said that every time they had to press a button, and that person would get shocked.
Phew.
Right?
I don't know.
That
was a real experiment?
They made them do it. Yeah. And they wanted to see how far they would go in that experiment. So basically, some people actually did it to the point where the guy was going to die. Of course, there was nobody hooked up to anything, it was a whole act. But people were just like, okay.
I don't know why that just really creeps me the hell out thinking about it.
It's a bad experiment.
They just want to see how sick and demented people are. Like, how much torture? Will you torture this person? Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
And normally they wouldn't do it. Like, they did the test and they put it up a person that was not dressed like a doctor. And they did it. And more people refused to do it than chose to do it, than agreed to do it. And then when they came in as a doctor, as an authority figure, the person actually went ahead and more often did it. I think they're showing it on the chat. Than when the guy came in as a non-authoritative figure. It's a messed up.
The Milgram experiment on obedience to authority figures was a series of social psychology experiments conducted by Yale. They measured the willingness of study participants, men from a diverse range of occupations with a varying level. What in the hell?
Told you.
To obey an authority figure who instructed them to perform acts conflicting with their personal conscience. Participants were led to believe that they were assisting an unrelated experiment in which they had to administer electric shocks to a learner. These fake electric shocks gradually increased to levels that would have been fatal had they been real. The experiment found unexpectedly that a very high proportion of subjects would fully obey the instructions, albeit reluctantly. Milgram first described his research in 1963, article in a Journal of Abnormal and Social Psychology, and later discussed his findings in greater depth in 1974. They did this in a basement, man. How do people?
I think.
So let me understand this.
Well, there used to be a thing that, you go and you look into like the personals and stuff like that, and there were ads in there. So they put ads in there for, you go in there to be tested with drugs or whatever, for, experimental drugs and whatever. So people would do that, or they'd have social experiments and they'd have people come in, and they would pay you whatever, $20, just do whatever.
Yeah.
Well, this is how they got the people.
The experiments happened in 1961 in the basement of Lindsley Chittenden Hall at Yale, 3 months after the start of a trial of German Nazi war criminal Adolf Eichmann in Jerusalem. So there's a fake shock. I guess I'm confused. Does the person really think they're shocking them?
Yes. The person who's admitting the shocks, yes.
Okay, so
they really believe that they're shocking them.
So they're told there's a learner on the other side of that wall learning stuff.
Yep.
And if they get the answer wrong, you get to shock them how you want.
Yes.
And it wasn't real, but if it would have been, it would have killed people.
Yes.
We are some evil bastards. I don't want to be here no more.
Okay.
But see, you have the mentality. Like I said, hey, if I told you
I question everything, dude. I don't trust nobody. And then when I do, it's usually the wrong people anyway.
I'm totally opposite. I trust everything everybody tells me.
You only trust, and you trust the people. Well, you trust anybody. I can't trust anybody.
I trust everything everybody tells me until I see something with my own eyes or an experience comes across that shows otherwise, and then it's really hard to get my trust back.
Okay.
But here's the difference between that's one way of doing it, I guess. Yeah. I'm incredibly disappointed a lot, where you're just kind of, you get surprised more, I bet, huh? See, that's the mentality. That's the mentality my pop took. He said, you should just expect crap all the time. That way, when you don't get it, you're actually surprised. Because if it's the other way around, then you're just going to be disappointed a lot. That's a defense mechanism, I think, of some kind of weird.
See, but that's a different paradigm. That's expectations. I don't expect crap. You know what I mean? I don't expect good. All right. Let's just put it that way.
Just a little bit of.
I just don't. I don't expect good. That's it. I don't expect good. I'm like, so if something good happens, that's kind of cool. But then if something bad happens, it's just like, okay.
Back to the box though. You didn't hesitate. You would have pushed the button. I think Art Bell actually did that gig, and they made a movie about it. That's crazy. But you would push the button, seriously. If I said, hey man, this button's going to murder somebody, but if you push it, I'm going to give you $10 million. You wouldn't hesitate.
Bam.
Why?
Because I don't know if it's for real, number one. Number two, I don't think they got the money. I'm calling that bluff.
I put the cash on the table, right in front of you. Here it is.
And I'm gone.
Bam,
I'm gone.
Oh, this scares me, Dan. Would you have been that? Would
it
you
better
hit the
be
button?
A good sum.
Would you have hit the button 20
better
years
be
ago?
A good sum. 20 years ago?
Yeah, did you just get this way, or would you have always hit the button?
I'd have done that shit when I was 9.
You see? How do we get out of this mentality, man? We got to come up with a different thing than money.
Well,
Something.
I found out back then life was not safe. So I was like, oh, okay, that's how it is.
Only the strong will survive. I'm the lucky one. I got the button today. Well, you better make that you better make whatever, $10 million. Somebody died for it. So what would you do with the money? And don't tell me you'd sit around and build motorcycles. I do. That's why I'm asking.
Who the hell cares? Whatever the hell I wanted.
You guys realize this is my best friend, right? What am I thinking?
Whatever the hell I wanted. Why is it so important that you need to know what I would do with the money? What do you care what I did with the money? What do you care?
I'm kind of
hoping. What's it to you?
I'm hoping.
Are you attached to the money?
I'm attached to you.
What do you want me to do? You want me to send it? You want me to try to find out who died and send them the money?
No, I want you to send me a little money and then make me feel good about it.
Oh, now the truth comes out. So you see,
just don't tell me how you got the money.
The bad guy.
Yeah.
But you want to know?
Yeah,
what I would do with it. Just
I think that's
some
beautiful to do those experiments and just see how people really are, though. Even though it's kind of messed up, morbid and all that, it does kind of show us how we really are. And then we wonder, why is all this stuff happening? COVID and, it's just so crazy out there with all the riots and everything. Well, people are out for themselves, man.
Programmed. They're programmed to be that way. They're programmed to be desensitized. You remember when the videos used to come out on, remember Twitter, when Twitter started getting really big before the celebrities came on? There was a big thing that came on, and the videos were starting to come out. And the videos started becoming more and more violent to the point where I saw, I believe it's in Syria, I saw this poor woman murdered right in front of the thing. I'm like, how the hell do you get away with showing shit like this?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I mean, it gets to the point where, it gets to the point where it was just like, they show people skateboarding and breaking their legs, or smashing their face and or
like
motorcycle
those Faces of Death videos?
Car accidents. No, I'm talking about these short little clips of freaking people getting really violently hurt.
Yeah.
In accidents and what have you, and desensitizing the people to violence. So your empathy is being stripped because you're being desensitized. Like normally you would have your knee-jerk reaction would be like, oh, you want to throw up because it's not in your wheelhouse to be that unsensitive, as a normal human being, because we're not on a day-to-day, the average human being will maybe see one death, 1 out of 1,000.
Well, I've only seen one. And I just seen it like right after it happened. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So here you are watching these videos and whatever, and you're seeing them like left and right several times a day. That has a major impact, man. Mm-hmm. And it's been going on for a while. This is nothing new. This is why they had the circus in the Roman ages. They had the gladiators. They were all killing themselves. And people were just like, that wasn't their life. That wasn't their life. Sure, they were fighting for food and everything like that and blah, 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 blah. And, every once in a while somebody got hurt. But for the most part, it wasn't like that. But they go every week and they get a dose of freaking insanity. And then they get their bread.
All of this, why does everything you're talking about make me feel even more alone than I am now?
Because you are alone, Joe. You're all alone.
That sucks.
Alone in what? alone in what?
I feel like you're making me feel like I'm surrounded by Neanderthals. Like I'm just getting scared, Dan. You're scaring me. You already said you'd cut my finger off for $1,000. You already said you'd murder somebody for $10 million. Now you're telling me about all the stuff that we used to do in these weird experiments. I mean, what did it?
That's influence, bro. That's influence. They had, if you read the Cialdini book Influence, there was an episode in there that they showed smoke coming out from a door on a street, in a busy city street. And people were walking by and not paying attention to the smoke coming out from the door. Now, all of a sudden, there's somebody banging on the other side of the freaking door. People still walking by the door. Nobody went to go open the door till somebody went over and started talking to the other person on the other side of the door. Then other people began to crowd around to see if they could help. But until that one person came up to the door, nobody paid attention to the door. They're like, I'm out of here.
So, what's the moral of that story?
You know what I'm saying? The moral of that story is people want to freaking not be involved.
Ah, I see. So nobody loves me.
Nobody loves you, John.
Do you love me?
I love you.
I love you. But I would cut your finger off for probably $15,000.
I know you would.
Anyhow.
That's why I wouldn't offer
it. Anyhow, I guess no one's going to I was hoping we could, I don't know. I was hoping somebody would call in on that one, but I guess everybody's probably contemplating. We got just a little bit of time left here. Hey, don't forget to sign up to The Outsider at thefringe.fm and also listen to The Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable after this broadcast. We are live on the Fringe FM. Unscreened phone calls 1-800-588-0335. We'll be right back.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
Listen, I want to tell you about G.I. Joy from GetTheTea.com. It's the best alchemical concoction of goodies for your stomach and digestive system I can recommend, and that's all based on my experience. Packed with colostrum, acidophilus, aloe, peppermint, and turmeric. If you do your own research, then you know this is the bee's knees for the stomach and digestion. Now, due to Big Brother's ears and the eye in the sky, you know I can't go into the details about what it helped me with. All I can say is I got relief. It's non-GMO, no fillers, no preservatives, manufactured right here in the US of A, and delivered to you by the only people who stay on top of the game and are out in front. Go grab a bottle of G.I. Joy at GetTheTea.com and see what all the fuss is about. Again, that's GetTheTea.com.
This is Malorcas 45, fan of the Fringe FM, challenging everyone to open their mind's eye. Listen to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop to gain precision for your third eye vision.
Hi, this is Aaron Hunter, host of Real Paranormal Activity, the podcast where we tell real paranormal experiences of people from around the world. And we also conduct interviews with authors, investigators, psychics, and mediums. Real people, real stories, real fear. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Fringe FM. See you then.
My name is Jake. I'm from Billings, Montana, and I am a void walker.
Hey, Joe Roop. Thanks for lighting the void. This is Janine in the bluegrass of Kentucky, and I am a void walker.
What's up, guys? This is Damien from San Marcos, Texas, and I'm a void walker. I listen to the show to keep myself aligned with the world.
Hi, this is Laura, aka Laura Lavender. I'm from Las Vegas, and I listen to Lighting the Void because it helps me understand some of the strangest experiences I've had. So thanks for all that you do and for always being there for us, Joe.
Ever seen an extraterrestrial? It can be hard to believe they exist unless you've seen one for yourself. What if I told you I've seen them my whole life, but have never had a witness who shared the encounter with me? Now, what if I told you I saw 4 of them, 2 with blue skin, and there are over 20 witnesses to this CE5 event? My new book, The Blue Beings, Visitation at the UFO Conference, documents actual accounts from real witnesses, many of which have gone on record to attest to this otherworldly reality. Be a part of the quantum paradigm shift that is taking place right now. Go to johnpolkmedia.com to get your copy of The Blue Beings, Visitation at the UFO Conference, on sale right now at johnpolkmedia.com. That's JOHNPOLK media.com.
All right, welcome back to Lighting the Void. I don't know how we ended up on these morbid conversations, but it's
where's the love?
Where's the love at, man? That's Dan takes his bong rip, right? So like Jeff Harmon showed me that he told me one time, like I was on the Saturn line, right? And he shows these planetary lines, these cross lines that you live on. And he's like, man, you've really had a hard time in your life, you know? And I'm like, yeah, here we go, right? Like, that's what all the psychics say. And then, but he started really, like, picking apart certain things that happened to me at certain times. And I started getting really freaked out, you know? And I was thinking, Are you telling me that this stuff is happening because I'm on this damn, like, it's really hard to live on like directly on the line. Okay. But I'm so close to the Saturn line. And he told me, he said, yeah, man, like you're going through one challenge after the other, right? Just boom, boom, boom. But you're growing a lot from it. But it's going to get to the point where you're going to be on a different timeline. And you're going to feel like you're on a different timeline than other people because they're not on this line. And other people that are will be with you. I didn't get it. I didn't get what he was saying until now. And so, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, everybody's in this self-love, self-healing, self-realization, ready to change their life type of modes. And I just like already went through all that. And I want to like spread the love, man. Like I'm in this Bob Marley type mentality, you know?
I'm hearing you.
And I'm just waiting. I'm waiting.
For what?
Love. Like
from where?
Bob Marley kind of love. You know what I mean? Like
you know what you were talking about the other day? You were talking about
what?
Oh hell. Shite. You were talking about
shites, bullets.
You were talking about you were talking about killing people with kindness.
Yeah, right. Hippie love. There you go.
People need to.
G.
Yeah, but the thing is that what we should try to do is kill ourselves with kindness, because we don't. Most of the time, we're our hardest critics.
Yeah, right. No doubt.
Most of the time, we're our hardest judges. You know, we don't need somebody else to give us the guilt trip. We're already giving ourselves the guilt trip.
Bob Marley and the Wailers with jamming. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, we don't have to be this way is the thing. Like, we just don't.
No, right, exactly. There is a better way. There's a better way.
We don't have to be pushing buttons and chopping fingers and shocking folks and being judge and jury in our head all the time. We just don't. Like, even to yourself.
Especially to yourself. Especially to yourself. You want to start the change in your head first. And then be easy with it.
I'm trying.
You know, stop trying to think that it's going to happen overnight. You didn't get to where you were freaking overnight.
Took a few nights, 534 actually. And those are business days. And skip the holidays. And skip the technical difficulties.
No, you were working holidays, remember?
Yeah, well, that was my alter ego.
Those were the busiest days.
But no, seriously.
Yeah, but it's practice. It's work. It's practice. It's repetition. It's like, you know, if you want to do something different and you have to do it all the time, you build up, start creating new failures, have new accidents, have new mistakes and stuff like that. Stop repeating the same old ones.
What I realized is everybody, has this inner child in them. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how tough you are and what you've learned. Everybody has this little baby child in them that is looking for love if they weren't loved properly as a child, especially. Everybody's got it. And esotericism and hermetics and all this other stuff tells you that until you learn to nurture that inner child yourself, you will not attract those things in your life or people or situations or whatever that actually will love you the way you want your inner child to be loved.
Yeah,
now, this
but the problem is that people don't know how to, because nobody recognizes when the inner child starts to cry.
That's exactly
They don't recognize that, you know what I'm saying? They don't recognize that that's what's actually happening. They don't stop and say, wait a minute, why am I having this reaction?
But we also got to recognize
instead of asking that, what they have are the images and the memories and the emotions that are attached to them, and they start to loop in the cycle, and before you know it, they're just like come to me, mother. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. And we don't recognize it in other people too. Even like you gotta. There's so many grown-ups around walking around like you. All these people walking around, but you have to really imagine on the inside. Most of them are children walking around on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Children that all feel love different ways. But there's a look that they'll give you when you've hurt that inner child. And as they get older, they learn that it becomes ego and it becomes something else. It becomes snapbacks and violence. But it's still the child. And I ain't trying to get all Freudian on you here or nothing, but the fact remains that we all came to this earth as babies and were told by people what to do, and they were babies too, and they're just as full of shit as you are. So nobody knows nothing. So you're in a place full of children that grew bigger bodies, that adapted to their environments. And your spirit is asking you to come back to that childlike being. With a little maturity and wisdom, though. But until we start learning to treat people that way, we're just going to keep attracting this bullshit. And it's like, I don't see why we haven't figured that out yet. And I think as we start to figure this out, that we're like divine beings, creator gods, little mini creator baby gods, As we start to figure this out, then we look on all of these other dark principalities like fear and social media and polarity, and all these things are being used against you as patterns.
Totally.
Patterns to control you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, have you ever dated somebody that says you'll never, like, you go through this when you date people too, but have you ever dated somebody that says you'll never be shit without me? Ever?
Nope.
Right. Like I have.
Nope.
And now some bitches almost made me believe it. Almost. And they got close. But I witnessed the child in them saying that because you know what they were trying to do? They were afraid. Why, though? They're afraid that my love was going to leave.
To keep them to pump themselves up.
Yeah, but why do we do that?
To give
it all
themselves
boils down to that.
They wanted to give self-worth.
That's right. It all boils down to that. Every decision we make is in love or in fear, and you hear that like, oh, it's got a cliche or whatever, but it's true. You're in pain. If you're in pain because you weren't loved properly, and then you act out of anger because you're mad because you weren't loved properly, but you're also in fear that you're never going to have it again, or you never will get it, or whatever. And now, I mean, it's just a perpetual cycle. When all you got to do, like, is hand out a hug, buy somebody lunch, talk to somebody you don't even know. You don't see the pain in their eyes, like, whatever.
Right.
I swear on everything, y'all. I swear on everything in my being. If you just do that, these things that you want will come to you because you start realizing that you're the source of what you want. That's right. You know exactly what I'm saying, and some of you don't want to hear it because you don't want the responsibility. And I don't either. But it's like this thing I have to accept, that we are God in the flesh, all of us. Oh, we ain't figured out that we're creating all this shit yet. It's like, I don't want that. It's a lot easier if somebody else doing it to me. But if you start doing things in your life that are good for people, and not to get back just because you see the inner child in them, not because they're going to give you something back or even make you feel a certain way, just because you see the inner child in them,
Right. The main issue also is we don't allow ourselves enough time to listen to the other person long enough. You still there?
I'm here. I'm listening.
That was weird. That's like something broke in.
Yeah, Night Stalker.
Oh, is it? Ah.
Can you hear me?
So, yeah, we can hear you.
Come on in.
All right, keep going. I won't interrupt. Go ahead, James.
Oh, so I was saying, so basically, you already did, but but what I was saying is that we don't allow ourselves enough time to hear the other person, to hear where they're coming from, to listen to them. We're all on this reactive state where, well, okay, we're not all.
Yeah,
but for a good majority of people, it's like, you can't say what you believe in. You can't say nothing without getting some instant freaking, and I don't mean like some sarcastic back, like, that's normal. Where I grew up, that's normal. You say something, somebody says something back to you, that's like normal. But when it gets down to like when you're confiding in people and stuff like that, or you're just being yourself, right away, snap judgments instantly, it's just like, and it has absolutely nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them, but still, man, it's like, I didn't ask you to volunteer your thoughts onto my freaking, my little diatribe here. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to let you know where I'm coming from.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? Yeah, right. Keep it to yourself. What do you say, Derek?
No, the Night Stalker.
I agree.
He agrees.
What's going on, you guys? Great show. These are like some of my favorite ones when you guys just hang out and talk to each other.
Is this? Why are you the only one that calls in when I see all these people listening on the map?
I'm a crazy person. Most people don't call radio shows, I guess. But
damn, that
I'm a weirdo.
sucks.
But I was going to tell a little weird story because you just mentioned talk to people you don't normally talk about when you were going through the list of things to do.
Mm-hmm.
This just happened to me. This just happened to me recently. So at the store, there's like a homeless guy that walks around. He just like lurks around. Like sometimes he comes in the store, but not very often.
Right.
And he pushes carriages around. He's like he's a weird guy. Like he tries to talk to people sometimes, and it doesn't always make sense. Sometimes it's just like the ramblings of a madman. But I talk to him a lot, and he likes me. So he'll if he sees me outside, he'll come up to me and start talking to me and stuff. So the other day, I'm talking to him outside, and he told me one time that his like family is like very rich and affiliated with like one of the like private colleges around here, and which I just took at face value or whatever. So then he was saying this time how he like used to work at this factory, at the newspaper factory or whatever near my area here, and how it like used to be where like the Merrimack River went down, and like he starts going off on this kind of crazy tangent. But I stop him. I'm like, what do you mean, like where the Merrimack used to go? And that's the river that like started my whole thing, like the river in my local region that started my whole like rivers of portals thing. Like I've researched it heavily, and it's like it's also in Lovecraft country. Like the Lovecraft scholars, when they map out where this area is, where his fictitious, like half the towns he uses are real and half the towns he uses are fake. So like the scholars try to figure out what he's actually talking about half the time. And he references the Merrimack, but also the Merrimack is the basis for the Miskatonic, which is his like famous river, which is like where the Miskatonic University is named after, etc. So during this whole thing, I'm like on the maps, the Merrimack goes like down from New Hampshire, kind of curls down to where I'm at, the Merrimack Valley, like where I live and where I work, and then goes back up and out Newburyport. And then in Lovecraft country, kind of there's another river that doesn't exist that's below that and kind of goes out towards Salem. This guy's telling me that in 1650, that like the Merrimack used to flow down straight south. It used to go and then farther down southeast. So that like in 1650, that would have been that would have been the Merrimack. There would be no Miskatonic. It would be the Merrimack. And it was like this like to manipulate this river. Like Crowley lived at the source of this river when he took his like magical retreat in 1914. He moved to the lake, which is the source of the river in Laconia, New Hampshire, where like Bike Week is and everything.
Yes.
So like the idea is that like if they're manipulating these, I don't know, it was a huge thread that I never would have gotten, like a major piece of like that I can tie into the research that I'm doing that I never would have gotten if I wasn't friendly with this homeless guy. And then like my boss comes walking up, and she's like, oh yeah, what do he want, crazy guy, whatever. And I'm like thinking, hey, he just like gave me a few hours worth of research. I gotta go down. Thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Drop some knowledge. So yeah, you got to find out how the heck what it came about to that actually rerouted the river. You know, because that usually happens. So somebody, some money pocket comes along and says, "Listen, we need the water to go this way," and all of a sudden the river's changed.
Like most of the major dams and like the Panama Canal and like all, if rivers are important in the world, like if the global makeup, if where the rivers flow are important to like the matrix of our reality, which I think it is, then the DuPonts and like all these elite families are the ones who created the Hoover Dam, the Panama Canal, the other major canal down by like Cape Hope, and there's like all kinds of like if you look at a major dam or canal, they're made by some rich family who's written about probably in the 13 Illuminati bloodlines. I just think that was fascinating, and it would have happened in 1650, which is like 300 years before Lovecraft. So he would never have gone there, but he would have like I don't know, it's like channeled information. If you like I don't know if you were to lay over that map. Now, like, it's a perfect one-in-one layover now. And it was like a crazy epiphany. And it was like from the mouths of a crazy person who wanders around the store, you know? Pretty wild.
It is wild. Pretty wild, man. Thanks for calling in. The Night Stalker.
Thanks, brother. Have a good night.
You too.
Later, you guys.
Have a good night, Derek.
He's always got the wildest stories, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's amazing what you've learned from a crazy person.
What does this say?
See, that's why Joe really calls me.
I don't know what that means, but no, I'm not near any dams or anything. So, yeah, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Whatever's going to happen.
If there's anything I'm going to impart to anybody who's listening in the next couple of days or whatever, just be cool, be calm. Anything that happens out of the norm is meant to happen, and it's happening for a reason, and it's meant to cause you to have a reaction. It's the only reason why it's happening. It's not because of this or that or the other thing. Just understand that it's happening because they want a reaction. That's it. They want you unnerved, they want you unstable, and they want to be able to manipulate you. And if you take it that way from here on until November and beyond, then you'll understand. Because this is going to be unrelenting and continuous. We might get some reprieves now and again and stuff like that, but they don't want to let go. They don't want to let go. You know, and the war is on, and we're in the middle of it, and this is what it looks like.
I would say that's happening on personal levels too. I'm just saying.
Many levels. Absolutely. Totally. The energies are like off the charts.
So, like when you read that book of Ecclesiastes and it says there's nothing new under the sun, I believe it's talking about these energetic cycles that just keep playing out. So you can break cycles and grow, or you can just keep going back like a minnow that keeps getting thrown back in the pond. You know, so pretty crazy stuff, man. I mean, I would lie. I'd be lying to you guys if I didn't tell you that I was at like an all-time challenge in my life right now, like probably one of the biggest I've ever been involved with. And it's super personal. And usually when you get to that shadow, like the, one of the end bosses.
You weren't going to say anything about that sex change, though.
Joe's not having a sex change. Don't you start no bullshit now. But seriously, like you get down to the end boss level, then you know what the end boss is it's like a mirror. You remember when Bruce Lee was like walking, Enter the Dragon, he's walking through the hall
Game
of
of Death?
mirrors or whatever.
Oh, Enter the Dragon.
Yeah. That's all it is.
So you started smashing all the mirrors? Just keep smashing the mirrors.
You face yourself in the end. And that's this Gemini energy, the twin. You face yourself. And you're like, how do I beat this one? I can't wait. If I lose, I can be a victim, but not this time. If I lose, then I'm a victim to myself. How are we going to do this? And it's pretty damn confusing, right? So if you want to know what the riots are about and all this other stuff, that's what's going on. We created this government, these systems, our behaviors, our dependencies, everything that we purchase, We created all of it, and now we're facing our own shit. And we're
what
going
if we
crazy.
What if we are all the people who are currently considering like this whole suffering or whatever? What if we are the descendants of the people who did all the bad things in Atlantis?
Then we would be victims. We would have excuses.
Meeting out our karma.
Could be, but I doubt it. It's just another story to blame.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's just another.
Be so sure. Well, you wanted to say that we're all responsible for our lives, right?
You
completely
are
responsible.
Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, both. There's nobody else to blame. You're both. Which one are you going to choose? Like you're constantly in this battle of choosing every day.
Luke, I am your sister.
Yeah. Every day you're choosing, making a statement of I'm this, I'm that, every freaking moment. And the universe is like, okay, that's what you are, that's what you are, that's what you are, that's what you are. It's just feeding back. I'm hurt. Yep, you're hurt. I'm broke. Yep, you're broke. I'm happy. Yep, you're happy. There's nobody to blame. Nope, there's nobody to blame.
I still think we got to find the codes.
There's got to be something to blame, right? That's what this whole conspiracy grandeur thing is about, until you realize that the nerds that are realizing these hermetic principles, that are doing all this stuff, are just other parts of you. You probably graduated with them in high school, or you know their uncle or something. You're probably related to Jeff Bezos, you just don't know it. But they're picking up on your patterns. Your patterns. Not their patterns, yours. And they're using it against
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Who? Kevin Bacon?
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, right. That's it. So, like, I was gonna say it. Yeah, you just threw me off, dude. Shit.
We gotta go.
Yep, we're leaving. Thanks for listening.
We love you.
This was a wing. We won it. That's not even a word.
We won it.
Yep. Thanks for the patrons. Thanks you guys in the chat. Thanks for the team at the Fringe FM. Love you all.
The views and opinions expressed on this
Thank you. Good night.
necessarily reflect those of the Fringe FM, KTLK Digital Broadcasting, its sponsors, affiliates, or staff. Listener discretion is advised.